I'm back with sound, and I'm gonna wait for some folks to arrive from the live stream. So this is Q&A from the Agility Riffs and Runs live stream. We got disconnected, so I am here now. Hi, Lakshita. So we can start Q&A, you and I, and hopefully the others will find us and join. Hi. Hi there. Thanks for joining me. Okay, so it is Q&A time. Get those questions in. Hi, James. Hi, Moa. Thank you guys for finding me again. That stream got disconnected when I tried fixing things. All right. So, last 15 minutes of this hour are yours. Questions related to riffs and runs are welcome, but questions about anything singing related. Raphael, I find it really hard to break down super quick riffs. It's like I can't recognize them when I slow them down a lot. Do you have any tips? Raphael, some riffs are extremely tough to break down. I literally slow down the video on YouTube and sometimes I go 1 second at a time. And I grab onto as many notes as I can in that 1 second. Um, and that's just how it is sometimes. Like really, really prolific riffers like Avery Wilson, Yeba, like that's my process. And I wish that I could yeah, I wish that I could help you more than that, but that is literally what I do is slow down the playback speed on YouTube and go just 1 second at a time, get as many notes as I can. Sometimes I will write down those pitches. So I'll figure out what the pitches are on the keyboard and I'll write them down. Or I'll think about it in solfege because I love solfege. So I'll think, oh, that sounds like a do, di, la. So I'll write that down. Yeah. The only other thing that I would say, the two things that I find trickiest, Raphael, are when there are repeated pitches. So when it's like, ooh, and you might not catch the fact that the bottom pitch was repeated. Okay. So if it's a repeated pitch or directional changes, those can really, really throw you for a loop. So those are two things. If you're really struggling with something, consider, hey, is there a repeated pitch that is throwing me off timing wise, or is there a directional change that I'm not getting? Lakshita, I just got into piano. Yay! What is the pentatonic scale? Lakshita, the pentatonic scale, penta meaning 5. It's a 5-tone scale. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. So if you think about the major scale, just skip over 4 and 7. 1, 2, 3. Don't sing 4. 5, 6. Don't sing 7. And then you could add on 8. That is the pentatonic scale. Do, 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 do. That's it. How do we form diminished chords and augmented chords? Oh, Lakshita, I need to get an resource for you. Diminished. Oops. Just Googling the word diminished is not going to do it. So don't do that. Okay. How to form diminished chords on piano. I've got this for you, and I believe, oh no, this doesn't have augmented, but Lakshita, there you go. That's how to form diminished chords. And I'm kind of guessing if we look up the same thing for augmented chords, I'm guessing they might have one for us. Let's see. No. But just search on Piano Keyboard Guide or what's the other website that I use sometimes? I think that's a pretty good one though. Okay, what scales should we learn? Oh, Sierra, I'll get to your question in a second. What scales should we learn to play chords and do vocal exercises? Good question. Every major scale is basically what you need, every major scale. Typically, that's what vocal exercises use. Sometimes we'll do minor scale, sometimes we'll do different kind of chords, but I would say start with every major scale. So, or at the very least, just every major chord. So, for example, if you can play A, do 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 do, or you can sing do 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 do, and then B flat, do 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 do, or do 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 do. So you can sing whatever pattern you want to, as long as you have the chord to sing it on top of. You don't actually need to be able to play. You don't need to play the entire scale if you don't want to. But I would say learn how to play every major chord going, up and down in half steps. So A, B flat, B, C, C sharp, D, and so on. Sierra, how do I sing on pitch? Wonderful question. And Sierra, I have a couple resources for you. So I did um, a short video on singing in tune. And what it comes down to in the beginning, for me, uh, is using a chromatic tuner. If you don't have a teacher that is there telling you, yes, you're singing in tune, or no, you're not singing in tune, you need some way to tell. And a chromatic tuner is the easiest way for you to visually see if you are singing in tune or not. So that's number one. Number two, let me get an article for you. Actually, two articles. One sec. One sec. Okay. So here is an article that I wrote on improving your tuning. And then there's a second article because sometimes tuning issues are not ear related. They have something to do with your technique. So if you think that your tuning issues are technique related, then that second article I posted. Okay. Um, Moa is saying, so I like to do some auditions in agencies in Korea. Do you have any song requests with high notes that does not go too fast? Oh, that's a good question. My question is what do you consider high? What would be a high note for you? So are we talking like high head voice or high kind of like mixy belt? Tell me that. James, what's your process for learning a song to sing it in public? So, James, one of the resources that I posted before was how to choose and work on a song. So, I will post that again right here. Let me see if I can add on anything else to that. What it comes down to for me personally is just copious amounts of rehearsal. I want to be over prepared when I'm singing something in public. Um, honestly, I'm at the point where singing something in public isn't the biggest deal. Singing something for an audition, that's what makes me nervous and what I, you know, go like crazy preparing for. I'm just seeing if I have any other um, things for you. Well, here's an article on building confidence. You might enjoy that. It's related to singing in public. Okay. Mark, when I do a repeated pitch or jump from singing to suddenly singing high without building up to it, I either crack or just don't produce sound. Would this be to do with my effort levels? Yeah. So, Mark, I would say it's also in how you're preparing. The reason it's easy to ramp up to a note is all that time you're preparing, you're adjusting, your jaw might be dropping, your vocal folds might be, lengthening out. So how I would work toward that, let's say we're doing a, ba 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 ba, and that note, if you just jump to it, you crack or no sound comes out. Um, Try to memorize what it feels like right before you sing that note, And you can ease yourself into that by first walking up to it, ba 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 ba, and then ba 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 ba. So sustaining that note, kind of getting comfortable on it. Ba 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 ba. So you're giving yourself a chance to ramp up to it and then repeat it and come down. Then you can ba 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 ba, and that's it. You're there. You're getting to the note without having to ramp up to it. But I would consider following those steps. So first ramp up to it, then repeat or sustain, and then ba 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 ba. You can do that. Hope that helps. Lee Who asks, where'd you go? Where'd you go? How do I sing without my voice sounding shaky? So, chances are, if we're getting shakiness, a lot of times that has to do with our breath support. So, I would recommend you sing on something that gets your belly engaged. So, if I'm singing, and I'm getting kind of shaky, I'll sing on something like a and I'll feel my belly really engaged. Then I might sing on a ba ba ba, and I'm again feeling my belly engage every time I start to make sound, and then I'll go back to the lyrics. Um, but I would say typically that's the issue is some sort of some breath issue there. Um, let me I don't know that I've covered shaky voice. I very, very recently covered running out of breath, which is related. So let me try to find that for you. 1 second. Oh my goodness gracious. Um, 1 sec. Yeah. Okay. So how to stop running out of breath. I think these issues, the advice in that video will help you. Okay, Tobias is asking, how do you make your mix voice less nasal? Understand what causes that nasal tone in the first place. So, a couple things that can cause a nasal tone are your larynx being high. Ah. Another thing that can cause that nasal tone is the back of your tongue being really high. Um, those are the two main things in my experience. So if either of those things are happening, drop the back of that tongue as if you're saying right away, way less nasality. If the larynx is high, ee. Again, sing on something like an to relax your larynx. You can even go like farther than your goal. So if you're really nasal, he, you might sing on something kind of dopey. Whoa, whoa, and then find that middle balance. So check on those two things. Is your larynx high? And then is the back of your tongue also high? Along with that, your soft palate being low, that can sometimes go together, the back of the tongue being high and then the soft palate being low. Um, Nick, another great question. Remind me how you don't fall into the trap of singing in a shouting voice. I've improved on this, but on off days go slightly shouty. That is so common. On off days, we often fall into whatever our tendency is. And for some singers, their tendency is to shout. Some singers, like me, tendency is to just flip into head voice and never be loud. So how do we do that? How do we avoid shouting? Number one, we keep an eye on our larynx. That larynx coming up will cause a shouty tone. So again, you can correct that with a nice relaxed uh you can even go kind of dopey ba 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 to remind yourself, hey, larynx, you don't have to jump up for high notes. Another thing to look at is your mouth position. If your mouth is going wide, hey, That's when we get shouty. So again, an shape. Uh, that'll help you get into your mix without just pulling up chest voice. So I'd say those two things are normally the culprit, and often they go together. When the mouth goes wide and the larynx goes up, that's just a perfect recipe to shout. All right. Boogie woogie, how do you do the bubble lip? The um so the sorry, I'm distracted trying to read more than one comment at once. The easiest way to do that is to give a little support for the corners of your mouth. Basically holding up the weight of your lips or the weight of your cheeks. And to pretend like you're, making a toy car sound or like a horse, but then you're making sound. However, um, if that is like just impossible for you, there are plenty of exercises that are great and give you the same benefit. Number one, singing through a straw. So, Lethu singing through a straw is one of the best warm ups that you can do, especially if that lip trill does not work for you. Um, so, look on the channel. I do have at least one or two exercises that use the straw. I will put it in the chat here, but Boogie Woogie, I would say if you're really struggling with the lip trill, don't even worry about it. Use straw phonation instead. Other favorites that are semi-occluded would be singing on an NG, or a hum. Yeah, as Mark said, I just hum. That's also great. Whew. Okay. I wish that I could stay, but I've got to go. I do want to encourage you guys to check out the blog because I notice a lot of questions that are asked. Of course, it's awesome to answer these live, but there's so much on the blog there to answer these questions as well. So look at it's 30daysinger.com/blog, and those are free for you to access. You don't have to be a member of the site in order to read the blog. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but or maybe you just need a free membership. There you go. Okay. Awesome. And then last thing, Moa, take a look on singingcarrots.com. That's a really good resource. You can input the range that you want to sing in, and then it'll show you songs to sing. Another resource for you would be to, if you're thinking about doing a song, if you go to this website, karaokeversion.com, and then look at the song, it'll give you the range of that song. So for example, you could put in I'm Only Human and see what the range is there, and you could compare that to other songs. Okay, both Singing Carrots and Karaoke Version. All right, see you guys next time. Thank you for joining me here. Bye.